Hi guys, got our Power Rankings video for you. This one will be a little different. It's in all 32 teams. It's just the 14 teams that made the playoffs. Because, well, our 18 team seasons are over. So, yeah, let's just get it started. Our 14, the team who I think is the worst playoff team that's struggled a lot for lately. Got the Houston Texans. They finished with 10-7 record last week when I was ranking all 32 teams. They were 17th. So, honestly, those two of the teams that were ahead of them before, well, defeating they are not in this rankings. But yeah, you you won, but it's against your terrible division. So that's not saying a ton. Congrats, you finished with 10 wins, but that was against the Titans. That isn't really saying much this year. Just look, Titans are the fired their GM. Yeah, we'll see how they do. They do have a home playoff game, so that always helps because it's always good play. But you do have to face the Chargers. Chargers are opposite of you. The Chargers are looking good lately, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, number 13 got the Pittsburgh Steelers, another 10-17, moving down a couple spots from 11 last week. They will face the Ravens, or the big division rival. They split the season series. But the Ravens beat the Steelers last time they faced each other, so see how it goes. They've seen our players have played each other pretty well. But the Steelers are not playing very good lately. Like, ever since the Steelers clinched the winning record, it seems like they are not doing that good. We'll see how they do. But yeah, say AFC North, so it should be a good game. But yeah. Number 12, I got the Denver Broncos, another AFC team. They're also 10-7, with them up a couple spots from 14 last week. Say they do. They did good. They finally won, and they blew out the Chiefs backups. His Chiefs backups, but he still blew them out. So going to you do have to face the Bills, so it's gonna be tough. It's funny because a thing I saw is the Broncos' last playoff game was Super Bowl 50, obviously, where they won, and the Super Bowl MVP was Von Miller. Their first playoff game since then now is against Von Miller because he's on the Bills. See the Broncos do will be tough just because two seeds, unless you're the Cowboys last year, two seeds usually win. But we'll see. The first year, the 2 versus 7 game was terrible, but these last couple years they're getting a little closer. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, number 11 got the Green Bay Packers. They're our first 11-win team. They're 11-6, with down one spot from 11 last week. So yeah, you lost to the Bears, so that's tough. That's tough. Then might end up being a meaningless game. You didn't know for sure going into it, just because the Commanders played at the same time. Commanders lost, and if you guys had won, you would have gone 16. So you wouldn't have had to play the Eagles. But you don't. In Commanders ended up winning, so it didn't matter much. And you lost anyways, so it wouldn't matter anyway. And then you lose Quinton Austin for the year, who has been injured a lot this year, but still, he's still a good weapon. Then Love gets injured. Sounds like it's too serious, but you never like your quarterback being injured going into the playoffs. That's never great. So see how they do. They're going to be facing the Eagles. So they have to see if the Eagles get Jalen Hurts back as well, because Jalen Hurts isn't out of concussion protocol yet. At least he wasn't out as of injury report news yesterday. I don't know if anything else has come out. So sounds like he is on. He did practice today, so that's good. That's a good start, but that doesn't mean he'll for sure play. They haven't released their first injury report, and even when they do, like for if they're limited fall or whatever, we don't know for sure if he's out, or we don't know if there's a good chance he'll play or not. Because I'm sure Hurst will do everything he can to play. Like, he's not the one to miss the playoffs. Like, if he can play, he will. It's not up to him because it's a concussion. NFL is taking out pretty seriously now. So see how they do. Hey, they did beat an NFC East team as the number 7 seed last year. But yeah, number 10 got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're 10-7 now. I moved them up a couple spots from 10-12 last week. Hey, it was close, but they got a big. They did what they needed to do. They won. They beat the Saints. And then to just add a little more on top, they got Mike Evans' 1,000-yard season, so he kept that streak going. He's now 11 straight. He's been in the league 11 years, which is crazy. Like he's tied Jerry Rice's all-time record for straight 1,000-yard seasons at 11. But Rice didn't do that from the start of his season. Yes, it's still crazy. Like, there's a reason Jerry Rice is the greatest wide receiver of all time. But it's just like that's just crazy. Like Evans, like I doubt if depending on how long he plays and obviously injuries, I doubt he'll do that his whole career just because he's gonna get older. It's gonna be tougher, and then he get out with injuries this year. Injuries obviously happen. But he is still pretty crazy to have that many. We'll see if he can ever not have 1,000-yard season. It's because a lot of players don't their last seasons they aren't as good as they used to be. There's a reason that they retired after it, but you never know. Let's see how the Bucks do. They face the Commanders. The Buccaneers are the home team, but they have the worst record, so that's ironic because wild cards in the NFC are loaded record-wise. Like the worst wild card in the NFC is 11 wins in the Packers. Like that's kind of crazy. But AFC is still good as well. Like there is no single-digit win teams in the playoffs this year. All of them had 10+ wins, which that's good. So see how the Bucks do. Number 9, you got the LA Chargers. They're 11-6 now. Kept them at 9 from last week. They blew out the Raiders. They got Antonio Pierce fired. Well, maybe I want to say fired just because he might have ended up getting fired anyways. But getting blown out the finals. Well, okay, I want to say blown out. He lost by they only beat him by 14, but still, they beat him pretty bad. But hey, you beating the Raiders by 2 scores definitely didn't help Pierce's case to return, especially because Pierce ruined the Raiders draft pick by winning 2 games in a row. Just like it's got like a couple teams this week kind of like it's like they probably did, but it's like they kind of knew like I'm getting fired. I don't have to help this team next year. Like why would I? They're firing me. And yeah, number 8's got the LA Rams. They're 10-7 now. Get them 8 from last week. They lost to the Seahawks, but they didn't really play most of their starters because they rested them, which they could have gotten the 3 seed if they had won. Just like I understand that just because the Rams are dealing with a ton of injuries and you can't just got them more rested. So yeah, we'll see how they do. They face the first 14+ win wildcard team in the Vikings on Monday Night Football. We'll see if this end up playing in LA because there was the wildfires going on. I hope if anybody's watching this from there that everybody's okay. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if it's ended up playing at SoFi Stadium or not. Obviously, it's the playoffs. So there's a lot of open stadiums. I won't say open. Well, there is, but just because there's 18 teams not in the playoffs, obviously, and then there's all those stadiums open. NFL doesn't do their best if they're moving it to keep it close so they can be as much home field advantage as possible. And that way that it doesn't mess up as teams traveling plans as madly. Still will if you have to move it because you had to move a game within a week of it. So we'll see what happens there. Number 7, got the Washington Commanders. They're 12-5 now. Get them at 7 from last week. They got big win to get to number 6 seed, so they didn't have to face the Eagles again. They now will face the Buccaneers, which playoffs, like, unless it's just a team that had a terrible division, was bad, just not as bad as other teams. Like, playoffs aren't usually going to be easy games. Sometimes, because if you made the playoffs, you're probably a decent to good team, at least. Not some teams you just look out or no offense to Texans, but in Texans' case, your division was just so bad somebody had to win it because the Texans did not look good late in the year. So yeah, big good time with Commanders. We'll see how they do against the Buccaneers in Danny Downs' first career playoff game. Number 6, you got the Minnesota Vikings. They're 14-3 now, but they're now a few spots from 3 last week. They lost. They lost, and Sam Darnold. That's him in the picture. He looked terrible. Yes, he did not. He did have a lot of pressure in his face, but even when he had time and he had somebody open, he had a lot of overthrows. like I can't remember when in the game, but like TJ Hawkinson was open and a pretty long third down. He overthrew him. The Vikings were stopped in the red zone 3 times. All 3 of those times, they could have had a touchdown. They got only scored 3 points because they went for a fourth down 2 of those times and didn't get either of them. Just like hope that's why I moved them down because and that's why Sam Darnold's there because how they do depends on Sam Darnold. It's on how teams do. It depends on their quarterback. Like you can have a great team like this time and these time and age. Like you need to have your quarterback needs to have a good game, or not have as bad as a game as Darnold. A little better, or at least a little better than Sam Darnold did last week. Because Darnold did terrible, and I guess technically his first career playoff game because it was pretty much it was as close as you can get to a playoff atmosphere without actually being a playoff game because it literally had the highest stakes in the regular season games history. So sucks that I was really it sucks they lost, didn't get the number 1 seed, but we'll see how they do. They ended up getting blown out, but their defense held great Lions offense to only 10 points in the first half. Not Lions. That is hard to do against Lions offense this year. That offense seems pretty much unbeatable. It's just their offense couldn't do anything, and then they got tired out at the end of the game. And one line. If you make a mistake against the Lions, unless you already have a huge lead somehow, you're more likely than not going to lose because the Lions are going to take advantage. But yeah, tough loss. We'll see what they do against the Rams. That is one of the 2 teams that's beaten them this year. Kind of funny if I wouldn't like it because I'm a Vikings fan. But if the Vikings end up losing to the Rams, or I guess if they end up winning the Super Bowl, I don't think they will. I thought their best, really the only chance to win the number 1 seed was winning the Super Bowl. My mind was getting the number 1 seed because we're not too injured, but they need it just because they haven't had a bye since week 6, and just they can get home field advantage, one of the best home field advantages in the league, and just get a little rest. Supposed to be able to do it. More likely than not, 3 road games. It's possible they only have 2, but it's unlikely. Very rarely do you see a lower 5 and 6 seeded team in the Super Bowl. On the conference championship game, I should say. Maybe even the Super Bowl. You never know, I guess. But it doesn't happen a lot. So they more likely than not will have 3 road games. Then technically 4 because Super Bowl obviously won't be at their home stadium. But it won't be at either teams. So see how they can see the playoffs. So yeah, now that's it for this. Let's go to top 5. Number 5, you got the Buffalo Bills. They're 13-4 now. Move them up 1 spot from 6. They lost to a terrible Patriots team, but they weren't playing anybody. They technically played Josh Allen because they put him there in 1 snap to keep his starting streak alive, but he literally played 1 snap. He wasn't doing anything. So they didn't care. They were locked in number 2 seed. So they got their team to rest. So see how the Bills do. They will be facing the Broncos. So we'll see. Number 4, got the Baltimore Ravens. They're 12-5 now. With them up 1 spot from 5 last week. They won their division with a big win over the Browns. Browns just are bad, but hey, you got that win. You won your division, which is huge to get you the home playoff game. You'll be facing the team you won the division over, the Steelers. So we'll see how they do. But yeah, they don't have they still have high expectations, but not as much as last year. Just because they're not that good as good as last year. They were pretty good last year until Chiefs, but Chiefs beat everybody in the playoffs. So you'll see what the Ravens do. Number 3, got the Philadelphia Eagles. They're 14-3 now. Moved them down 1 spot from 2 last week. Hey, you didn't have any of your starters, and you still beat the Giants. Yeah, I highly doubt he doesn't play, but until it's official, he was playing it. Jalen Hurts might not play. He's still in concussion protocol. We'll see there. If he doesn't play, you're not winning. If Jordan Love doesn't end up playing, you probably still win. But if Jordan Love is playing and Hurts isn't, you're probably not winning. So that sucks. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully Hurts gets healthy. Number 2, got the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 15-2 now, moved them down one spot from 2 last week. They lost, but same thing as the Bills. They lost with all their backups, and it was a game they didn't care about. Now the Chiefs get 2 weeks to rest because they didn't play their starters last week, and now they get the first round bye. So we'll see what the Chiefs do once they are playing in the divisional round. But yeah, can they break through? Can they become the first NFL team in history to win 3 straight Super Bowls? Number 1, I got them, the Detroit Lions. 15-2 now, moved them up a few spots from 4 last week. Yeah, they got a big win. They secured the first NFL 1 seed in their team's history. Congrats to them there. They won their division because literally they ended up having 15 wins and they didn't win their division until the last week, which is still crazy to think about. So they can win them, get that bye, which is big just because you have so many injuries. So even if it doesn't really matter and getting guys back, it's like maybe nobody would have been back for a wild card round anyway. Anybody that be coming back for a division round would have been ready for wild card. Dave Montgomery probably not, but maybe. So that's big. And one less game you have to play, so one less game that people can get injured in. Just saying. And yeah, Anzalone came back first time since week 11, and he did great. Like he played all but a few snaps. He missed at least one. I don't know exactly how many. He did great. Like he was a huge part of them winning and holding that Vikings offense to only field goals. Like that's hard to do. The only other team that's done that this year is the Jaguars, which doesn't say it a lot because Jags are terrible. But if you don't pay attention to the team that did it, like that's pretty good with all the talent on that offense the Vikings have. So yeah, we'll see how they do once they get back, once they're playing again. But yeah, because that's it for the playoff power rankings. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a good one.